Hey, thanks for checking out my audio or my video here. This is the next part in the series, Christianity and Islam. And so again, I just want to remind everyone, this is shared as something that empowers Christ followers to understand what it is that they believe and why they believe it. It's also shared to empower those who would consider themselves Muslims or the followers of Islam to challenge what it is that they believe. And so hopefully the information that I share here will be useful to everyone who hears it. Obviously, I'm taking from the writings of other people, and so when it's not something that I personally believe, I share it just as a fact, if it's just historical data or something along those lines. But this does lean heavily upon, of course, my opinions as a Christ follower. And so, you know, one of the first things that I want to mention in this next part, or this next series here, is really the history of Islam. And so the background on it is that approximately 1500 years ago in Mecca, Saudi Arabia, a man named Muhammad was contemplating, according to the stories, inside of a cave when he claimed he was visited by an angel named, curiously enough, Gabriel. The angel gave him messages, according to the stories and the history, and continued to reveal things to him over a 23-year period. Muhammad used these teachings to form the basis of a religion that we now call Islam. And Islam itself actually means surrender or submission. And you'll find that interesting later on in the series as we go over something else. It sort of ties into that. People who believe the teachings of Islam are known by most folks in the world as Muslims. See, Muslims actually do not believe that Muhammad and his followers were the first Muslims. Others mentioned in the Bible or in the Jewish scriptures, such as Abraham, and specifically mentioned in Quran 3:16, by the way, were Muslims according to them. And even though they lived hundreds of years before Muhammad, they are labeled this way. And in fact, Muslims believe that Islam was the original religion from the time of creation, that Adam was the first prophet of Allah, that other biblical characters such as Noah, Moses, David, Solomon, even John the Baptist, and Jesus were all prophets of Allah according to Islam and Muslims. In all, according to them, there have been approximately 124,000 prophets sent for specific times, but Muhammad is what they consider the last and the greatest of all of them, and is known as the seal of the prophets. That's S-E-A-L, of the prophets. So after Muhammad's death, his followers actually disagreed on who should be his successor, and they divided into two main groups. There's the Sunni and the Shiite groups, and about 85% of the world's Muslims are Sunnis, and 15% are Shiites. The two branches differ somewhat in their practices and traditions, and it's interesting to note that the majority of the radical terrorist-type organizations, if not all of them, are in the Sunni branch of Islam, and are Sunni branch Muslims, if you will. And so this concludes the second short video. We'll have another one shortly, and if you have any thoughts, please let me know. Thanks a lot.